This program contains graphic violence and sexual situations. Viewer discretion is advised. It's the subject of the hit documentary series, Making a Murderer. A Wisconsin man is wrongly convicted of rape.
Stephen Avery, she believed, was her attacker.
With regard to the charge of first-degree sexual assault, guilty.
And sent to prison for 18 years.
They let Stephen Avery sit behind bars for 18 years, knowing full well that he wasn't the guy they were looking for.
After he is exonerated by DNA evidence, a pretty young photographer is sadistically butchered. Her remains and vehicle found on the man's property.
It was the worst day of my life.
A jury sends him back to prison, this time for murder.
This guy spends 18 years in prison for a crime he doesn't commit. He's exonerated, and now all of a sudden he's charged with the murder of this other woman.
Could the legal system have gotten it wrong again? Or did this man actually commit a truly unspeakable crime, believing he had already paid the price?
He said that he had a right to do this.
For the first time, experience a gripping dramatization of what may have happened that terrible Halloween night. Based on damning evidence the documentary shockingly omitted. Evidence that convinced a jury to put away a killer for good.
Making a Murderer really manipulated the truth.
Meet Stephen Avery, obscure owner of a salvage yard and falsely convicted felon, until murder made him famous. In 2015, the crime saga of Stephen Avery became a worldwide sensation through the hit documentary series, Making a Murderer. It tells the story of an innocent man falsely convicted of rape, his exoneration, and his shocking conviction for the murder of 25-year-old photographer Teresa Halbach.
It was the first time that a man freed by the Innocence Project was later charged with murder.
Did lightning strike twice for Stephen Avery? Was he wrongfully convicted twice? If he was wrongly convicted for a second time, then it's the biggest miscarriage of justice in American history.
The highly rated series so outraged viewers that a nationwide petition to pardon Avery garnered more than 500,000 signatures. But is there a side to this story not revealed in Making a Murderer? Stephen Avery is born in Manitowoc County, Wisconsin, where his family owns and operates a local salvage yard.
He was just a rural troublemaker, very well known to the law enforcement community, especially the sheriff's department.
Stephen Avery's first run-in with the law is at age 18 for burglary, and again a few years later when he is convicted of animal cruelty after admitting to burning a cat alive.
We're not talking about a guy who had kept his nose clean his entire life. Stephen Avery had a past, and he also had a history of offenses of increasing seriousness.
1 year later, Avery's depraved acts escalate when he removes his pants and exposes himself to his cousin.
The other day, he was having sex with his wife on the front lawn, in broad daylight. I've had it with him, Bill.
She files a complaint against Avery with her husband, a local deputy, for indecent exposure and other lewd acts. But the complaint against Avery only infuriates him.
Pull over, Sandra! Pull over!
We're not talking about a criminal mastermind here. He had a low IQ, probably around 70 to 75. This wasn't somebody who plotted things out meticulously. This wasn't somebody who sat there and kind of second-guessed what the police are gonna think. Stephen Avery just did what Stephen Avery was going to do.
You're spreading rumors about me, Sandra?
What is wrong with you? My God,
I know it was
Stephen!
you, Sandra! I'll shoot you!
What's wrong with you?
I will shoot you, Sandra!
He approached her with a rifle. He let her go only because she had a young child in the back seat. In fact, Stephen was convicted of that crime, and 6 of the 18 years that he served on the wrongful conviction were actually rightfully served because of that conviction for the prior crime.
It is while Avery is out on bail and awaiting trial for the roadside assault that an event takes place which will forever change the course of Avery's life. July 1985, not far from Manitowoc. 36-year-old Penny Ann Peterson is jogging alone along the Lake Michigan shoreline near Two Rivers, Wisconsin.
She noticed a person ahead of her who disturbed her, and she could tell he was up to no good. He dragged her over sand dunes and ended up brutally assaulting Penny.
The attacker is armed with a knife. He leads Penny into the woods, where he savagely beats and sexually assaults her.
No.
At the hospital, Berntsen describes her attacker as a scraggly-haired man in a leather jacket.
What police had was the victim's account of what she said happened to her.
Scraggly hair, black leather jacket. You know who that sounds like.
Who?
Stephen Avery.
They had a description of a man who fit Steve Avery. They had some physical evidence, and they also had all sorts of prior bad acts that were done by Stephen Avery. So to them, this is a slam dunk.
The sheriff's department placed Stephen Avery in a photo lineup.
Stephen Avery did have an alibi. He had lots of witnesses who said that he wasn't anywhere near this assault. But the problem was, those were all his family members. And police know that family members can lie for you.
Take your time.
It's that one.
Use the form, please.
From then, the case took on its own course. Penny, in her mind after that point, that was her assailant.
The prisoner will please rise.
Stephen Avery maintains his innocence.
The verdict of the jury with regard to the charge of first-degree sexual assault, guilty.
But with the eyewitness identification, he is found guilty of first-degree sexual assault, false imprisonment, and attempted first-degree murder.
Guilty. The bailiff will remand the prisoner to the custody of the Wisconsin Department of Corrections.
They talked to his family, and it looked like, hey, you know, he really had a good alibi. So when the verdict comes down as guilty, we were kind of, wow. We really thought they had proven their case, but the jury didn't buy it. So, hey, jury of your peers, you're gone.
22-year-old Stephen Avery is sentenced to 32 years in prison for a crime he insists he did not commit. Nearly a decade after Avery's conviction, Officer Andrew Colburn receives a phone call from a neighboring county,
Colburn,
explaining that another inmate has confessed to Stephen Avery's crime.
His name is Gregory Allen, and he confesses to having sexually assaulted Penny Biernston.
Gregory Allen. Okay, I'll pass that info along. Anything else? Thank you, sir.
Colburn claims he referred the caller to a Manitowoc County detective. Inexplicably, he won't report this phone call from Brown County authorities for another 8 years.
Stephen Avery was already serving time for this assault. So to hear that Gregory Allen might have been involved, that was something that they didn't want to hear, and it was something they weren't going to deal with.
Mr. Avery and Mr. Allen looked somewhat alike. They both had beards, but really there was a great disparity in other ways of how they looked. Mr. Avery was so much shorter than Mr. Allen, and in many other ways, Gregory Allen fit Penny's initial description much better than Stephen Avery did.
Still fighting for his innocence, Stephen Avery requests to have the scrapings taken from under Penny's fingernails tested against his DNA.
The DNA was tested, and it wasn't a match with Stephen Avery. He knew he was innocent, and there was DNA evidence to prove that he didn't do it, and he was still behind bars. And that was frustrating to him.
15 years pass, and prison becomes an incubator for Stephen Avery's anger, resentment, and according to fellow inmates, dark fantasies.
There is a lot of downtime in prison, and a lot of time for people to think about different things. And according to people who were in jail at the same time as Stephen Avery, he was thinking about crimes.
Yo, man, what you drawing over there?
You don't want to know.
Y'all do, what is it? Let me see this, man. Man, what this is?
It's a torture chamber.
A torture chamber? For what?
What do you think? For women.
For women? For what? So you can rape them?
He also tells another inmate that the best way to get rid of a body is to burn it, as heat destroys DNA.
In prison, he developed a real hatred of women. This is a person that prison made even worse than when he went in.
He was thinking about how you could dispose of a body or how you could get away with murder. And he had all these things going through his head. He's diagramming them out. He's thinking about them. He's watching the CSI type of TV shows.
All the while, Stephen Avery and his family continue to fight for his release. Finally, the Wisconsin Innocence Project takes up Stephen Avery's cause and requests to conduct DNA testing based on new scientific advancements. The judge approves the request. 13 hairs recovered from the victim he is accused of raping. None match Stephen Avery.
And one of them matches a name that's all too familiar to the police, Gregory Allen, who they had heard years ago had confessed to this crime.
Gregory Allen is already serving a 60-year sentence for a rape he committed in Brown County.
We determined that it was very clear that Mr. Avery was wrongly convicted and that he had to be released forthwith.
On September 11th, 2003, Avery is freed after spending 18 years in prison for a rape he did not commit.
In a scene that people in Wisconsin will remember well, he walked out of prison in the midst of media cameras and reporters from all over the state.
Well, Mr. Tom. How's that taste?
Tastes good.
Stephen Avery became sort of a folk hero in the state of Wisconsin, the poster child for the Wisconsin Innocence Project.
He lost 18 years of his life in prison for something that he didn't do. And that's going to affect him for the rest of his life.
In wrongful incarceration, what we see is them being happy upon being released. You know, we see these guys, I'm just happy to be out, but we don't see them next year and the year after that and what they're going through from that experience.
You can't be institutionalized for 18 years without it fundamentally changing who you are, how you see the world, what you think is appropriate and is not.
Back in society, Avery moves into a trailer on his family's property with new girlfriend, Jody Stokowski. He also begins working at the Avery salvage yard.
He didn't really have a job. I mean, he would kind of work around the family auto salvage yard, but that was a well-functioning business, and his father and his brothers were running, so I think he sort of felt not sure how to fit in exactly.
You can't overstate the things that Stephen Avery lost. He lost everything by going to jail for something that he didn't do.
Within months after his release from prison, Stephen Avery filed a $36 million wrongful conviction lawsuit against Manitowoc County, its former district attorney, and the former sheriff, who were, as Mr. Avery and his lawyers allege, responsible for his wrongful conviction.
Stephen Avery believed that he was due this money, that he earned this money, not just by spending 18 years behind bars for a crime he didn't commit, but because it felt intentional to him. The police knew that the DNA didn't match. The police knew that somebody else had confessed to this crime.
Avery's paranoia is fueled when his fiancée is pulled over by a Manitowoc County sheriff for suspected drinking and driving. Her blood alcohol level is under the legal drinking limit, but due to her 3 prior drinking violations, she is still arrested. With yet another violation, Jody is sent to jail for 7 months. And this enrages Stephen Avery, who believes this is just the sheriff's department's attempt to target him for filing the lawsuit. A steady rage is building inside Stephen Avery. The question is, how would it manifest itself? On October 10th, 2005, 25-year-old Teresa Hallbach, a photographer for Auto Trader magazine, visits Avery's property to take vehicle photos.
Teresa Halbach was a very normal girl. She was 25 years old. She was a photographer for Auto Trader.
If you were going to sell a car, she would come to your house or your business, take pictures of it that would be placed in Auto Trader and used as part of the ads.
She became a very good photographer, and she enjoyed it, and she had that passion for it.
She had been to the Avery property at least a handful of times before, being that it was a salvage yard, and had met Stephen Avery on at least a couple of occasions.
Hey,
How you doing?
you again.
Yep, me again. So, you got another vehicle for sale?
Sure do.
Stephen Avery opened the door and he was wearing nothing but a towel. And she thought that was inappropriate, that was weird, that was unsettling, and it made her uncomfortable.
You want to come in for a sec while I get dressed?
No, I'll wait here. In fact, if you just want to point it out, I can go get the picture.
Oh, no. Give me just a minute.
She was frightened about it, and we talked, and I even told her a couple times, if you have to go back there, let me know and I'll go with you. And she said, no, everything will be okay.
But little does Teresa know that just a few weeks later, on Halloween, her worst nightmare will begin with a phone call at 8:12 a.m.
Auto Trader.
Yeah, my sister has an '89 Dodge minivan to sell.
On the day of Teresa's murder, Stephen Avery calls Auto Trader magazine, telling them that his sister Barb has a vehicle to sell.
Avery's Auto Salvage in Two Rivers.
Will there be somebody there this afternoon?
Yeah, my sister.
What's her name?
He gives the receptionist his address and tells her that Barb will be waiting.
$39.95 payable on site.
Can you send that Teresa Hallback girl? She makes good pictures.
I'll see if she's available.
Thank you.
Wait, the Avery place? No, I'm not going back out there, Dawn. That guy creeps me out. I'm serious.
It's my sister, not him.
It's not his car?
No. Come on, Teresa. I have nobody else. Can't you do it just this once, one more time?
God, I hate this. Okay, but this is the last time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
If Teresa Halbach thought that she was going back to meet Steve Avery, she wouldn't have gone to the property. But she was under the impression that she was going to be meeting with his sister.
She reluctantly makes the salvage yard her last of 3 appointments for that day.
For a person to call and request that girl or the one who came out last time might sound suspicious. At the same time, it isn't necessarily. If she's the only photographer covering that area or the primary one, that's who you would get if you made a request.
Phone records show that Avery calls her cell phone 3 times that afternoon, twice using the star 67 feature to hide his identity.
It's pretty clear that Stephen Avery lured Teresa Halbach to take the picture. He used star 67 2 occasions to basically conceal his identity. He probably knew that he had frightened Teresa earlier when she showed up at the salvage yard on a prior occasion, and he greeted her wearing only a towel.
What is known is that Teresa Halbach arrives at the Avery property around 3 p.m.
Hey there.
Hi. Is Barb here? I'm here to take pictures of the car.
Barb ain't here right now. I can show you where it is.
Oh, okay.
This way. This one.
Okay.
She left me some money to give to you. Come by the trailer when you're done.
Yeah, okay.
Passers-by spot Teresa taking photographs of the vehicle. It is the last time anyone will see her alive.
Typically, she would be at the studio about 9 o'clock. 9:30, she wasn't there. 10:30, she wasn't there. So I'm thinking, well, maybe she got tied up something, and personal or whatever. So I called, and her answering machine was full. And I thought, well, that's odd, because it was never full before. Got a hold of her mom, and her mom said, well, I drove by, and the garage door was open, and her car was gone.
Have you seen this woman? An intense search is underway tonight for a missing 25-year-old from Calumet County. It's our top story on Action 2 News at 5.
There was coverage of a missing woman, and that she had last been seen at the Avery place, and it was, whoa, that was coincidental right there, like, what's this all about?
On November 5th, volunteer searchers looked desperately for missing photographer Teresa Halbach.
Friends and family members of Teresa Halbach had developed a volunteer search party, and one of the places they searched was the Avery salvage yard.
Teresa Halbach's cousin, Pamela Sturm, and Pam's daughter enter the Avery salvage yard with permission from the owners. And within 20 minutes, they make a startling discovery.
Okay, we are at Avery Salvage. Okay. Okay, and we're searching for the vehicle. Right. For Teresa Halbach. We have found a RAV4.
Teresa's SUV is haphazardly hidden within the salvage yard itself.
It took days. That's not surprising, because nobody would see this vehicle and say it doesn't belong there, because it's a salvage yard.
Police soon confirmed that that was Teresa's vehicle.
Police impound Halbach's SUV and take it to the state crime lab in Madison. By the next day, as many as 200 police officers are combing the Avery salvage yard for evidence.
There were media helicopters circling above, watching what was going on below. Police dogs were barking. It was about as eerie a scene as you can imagine.
Eventually, cadaver dogs find what appear to be a burn pit and a burn barrel near Stephen Avery's trailer. Discovered are pieces of a cell phone, camera, and bits of bone and teeth. Authorities confirm that these are the remains of Teresa Halbach.
It officially went from a missing person investigation to an actual homicide investigation.
With Avery's pending lawsuit against Manitowoc County, the DA's office determines that there is a conflict of interest and turn the investigation over to a neighboring county. Investigators from Calumet County discover damning evidence in Teresa Halbach's SUV.
They find Steve Avery's blood on the inside of the car. They find other DNA underneath the hood of the vehicle. Physical evidence that ties Steve Avery to this car and to Teresa Halbach.
Upon a sixth search of Avery's home, Detective James Link finds the key to Teresa Halbach's RAV4, and it contains Avery's DNA. Curiously, however, it does not contain Teresa's DNA. Is it possible that the key was planted during the sixth search in an effort to frame Stephen Avery?
Now, Making a Murderer showed the key right on the floor as if it was right there the whole time and that other officers should have found it. But actually, Colburn and Link testified that when they were in there searching, Colburn had put back some pornography magazines, basically, into the bookcase. And he was doing it kind of roughly, throwing it in there, when the backing of the bookcase apparently came out of veneer or a particle board, and Stephen Avery had tucked the key behind, in between the particle board and the bookcase, and that is when it fell out. That explanation was never even shown on Making a Murderer.
In another bizarre twist, Stephen Avery, prior to his arrest, calls in live to the Nancy Grace Show.
Mr. Avery, do you feel like you're being framed in any way?
Yes.
Why?
Because every time I turn around, the county's always doing something to me.
Stephen Avery is charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilation of a corpse, and possession of firearms by a felon. He pleads not guilty.
It was discovered after Avery was taken into custody that he had a cut on the finger on one of his hands.
When I did my interview with him in jail, he still had the cut, and I asked him, about it. And he said when he was doing stuff in his garage and he cut his finger. You know, they're setting me up from the very beginning was kind of his theme.
Planting evidence. How else could it be there? You know, if I didn't do nothing, it don't make no sense.
All right, Brendan. One thing I'm gonna ask you.
Meanwhile, Avery's 16-year-old learning disabled nephew, Brendan Dassey, is questioned by police after he tells his 13-year-old cousin that he saw a body in Uncle Stephen's fire pit the night of Teresa's murder.
Police start questioning Brendan Dassey, who's a learning disabled young teenager. And obviously, they're just trying to get answers.
You told me before that he told you he tied her up.
Yeah.
What did he use to tie her up?
Rope. I think it's fair to say that Brendan was very limited in many ways, intellectually limited, and probably very easily manipulated by older people, and he very much looked up to Stephen Avery, his uncle.
In what has become a controversial series of interrogations, each of which was elicited without a defense attorney present, Brendan describes a horrific and depraved murder in graphic detail.
Brendan Dassey lived in a trailer right next to his uncle, and after school, went over to Stephen Avery's trailer to see him.
Brendan Dassey provided a horrific account of Teresa's last hour at Stephen Avery's home.
What follows is an account of the crime based on Brendan Dassey's confession to investigators. A confession he will later recant.
Get him here. You want some action? Come on.
Teresa is naked, bound to the bed, and is wearing leg irons.
Help me, please! No, please, just let me go! I just want to get out of here,
I ain't gonna let her go. She'll go right to the cops.
No, I swear I won't say anything. I just want to go home.
You just gonna stare all day? Go on then, I already had my turn.
No!
Go ahead, do it!
Don't listen to him! Don't do what he says!
I said shut up!
No! No!
Go ahead, it's about time you become a man!
Oh my God, no! Oh my God, no! Please don't do this! Please don't do this! Please, no!
According to 16-year-old Brendan Dassey's confession, she is sexually assaulted by him and Stephen Avery.
Help me!
Teresa's repeated pleas for help prove fruitless.
After they finished assaulting Teresa Halbach, they removed her from the bed and took her to the garage where the assault continued.
Where are we going?
Don't you worry about it.
Teresa is likely subdued by Avery so that he can move her easily.
What are you doing?
Her SUV has been moved to Avery's garage, out of sight of passers-by.
Leave me alone!
What now?
What are you doing?
We'll kill her.
According to Brendan Dassey, Stephen Avery took a knife out of his back pocket, stabbed Teresa Halbach in the chest, and then handed the knife to him.
Finish her off.
No. It hurts!
Dassey recalls Teresa telling him the stabbing is painful.
Do it.
Please don't kill me! Please don't kill me! Please don't kill me! Please!
Now what do we do?
Help me put her in the car. We'll put it in the crusher.
Teresa's blood is later found in the rear cargo area of her vehicle. Avery's plan is to crush Teresa's car with her in it.
They could find DNA in the crusher, couldn't they?
They could?
Stephen Avery has another idea.
Maybe we should throw her on the fire.
Oh, she don't want to die, Uncle Steve.
Teresa is still alive at this point.
They remove her from the cargo area.
Wait here.
Brendan Dassey recalls Teresa is still breathing.
Stephen Avery goes and gets a rifle, comes back.
Get out the way.
And shoots her at least 10 times, including one shot in the head.
I'm sorry you got to see this stuff.
Dassey later tells police he had to turn away when Teresa was shot.
He then disposed of her body in a fire pit in a burn barrel after the fact.
What's the matter?
Smells bad.
I know. We throw some more tires on the fire. Then we got some cleanup to do. Remember, you helped do this too. Let's go.
It's hard to imagine a more horrific ending to somebody's life than what Teresa Halbach experienced that day.
Just the fact that the girl was sexually assaulted brutally, but then to actually set someone on fire and burn them, unbelievable, unbelievable.
It was the worst day in my life. To this day, it still bothers me.
Now Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey have to clean the entire crime scene. They need to remove any evidence that Teresa Halbach was ever there.
Later that night, they move Teresa's SUV into the junkyard and disconnect the battery. Avery leaves fluid DNA from his perspiration on the hood latch. Then they cover the vehicle in debris. Finally, they dispose of Teresa's license plate by hiding it in another wrecked vehicle.
Soon after confessing, Brendan Dassey recanted. He said he told the police what they wanted to hear. None of that happened. And in fact, he never saw Stephen kill Teresa, that he did not kill Teresa, and that the police basically made him say what he said.
We know there's some things you left out, and we know there's some things that maybe weren't quite correct that you told us.
Was Brendan Dassey, a mentally challenged teenager without counsel, coerced into giving a false confession by sophisticated investigators in order to implicate his uncle?
I knocked on the door and he answered it.
Yeah, and then what?
I gave it to him and then I left.
Come on now. You just heard screaming over there.
You're making this hard on us and yourself.
Be honest.
That's all I can remember.
All right, I'm just gonna come up and ask you, who shot her in the head?
He did.
Why didn't you tell us that?
So I couldn't think of it.
Brendan Dassey didn't have legal representation, and he's trying to match wits with these police officers who are aggressively trying to solve this case.
But when unprompted, Brendan reveals key pieces of evidence that only the killers could have known.
What kind of cleaning? What do you do? How do you do it?
We threw gas on it so he could get it off. Then he tried paint thinner and then he went to bleach to get it off, and he went like he was spraying it and it probably got on the floor and it splashed up on my pants or something.
How much bleach? No, let me go back. How much blood was there on the floor? Quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Where would it have been?
Like by the lawnmower and where the Jeep's tire was.
Luminol tests of the garage confirm the presence of paint thinner and bleach in the exact location Brendan describes to officers, as well as bleach stains on the jeans Brendan wore on the night of the murder. A bullet fragment containing Teresa's blood is later discovered in the garage.
You do understand that you're under arrest now?
So could I call my girlfriend and tell her that I couldn't come today?
We'll give you an opportunity to do that.
You know, after he's being told what's going to happen here, yeah, he probably would start recanting things and say, well, I didn't mean that. Well, it's too late.
4 months after Halbach's murder, authorities arrest Brendan Dassey as a co-conspirator. He is charged with being party to first-degree intentional homicide, sexual assault, and mutilating a corpse. Critics of Dassey's confession point to the movie Kiss the Girls, which contains an abduction, rape, and torture scene eerily similar to the boy's confession.
Yes, the rape and murder of Teresa Halbach did seem a lot like the movie Kiss the Girls. But the question remains, was that something that Brendan Dassey was making up because he'd seen the movie? Or was the rape and murder of Teresa Halbach patterned after the movie? It could go either way.
Additional charges are levied against Avery, including kidnapping, false imprisonment, and sexual assault with a dangerous weapon.
You know, he was saying from the beginning, look, I was railroaded in the sexual assault case in 1985, and they're trying to pin this one on me too.
The difference was, last time they didn't have DNA evidence. This time they did.
Avery settles his $36 million lawsuit for his prior false imprisonment for about $400,000, as he needs money to pay for his pricey defense lawyers. Preparing for trial, Avery's defense attorneys find an 11-year-old vial of Stephen Avery's blood inside an unsecured area of the Manitowoc County Clerk of Court's office. The vial is not sealed.
There appeared to be a hole in the stopper of the vial.
The argument is, maybe this blood was used to contaminate the crime scene, and maybe the reason why we have all this physical evidence is because it was planted there by investigators.
Their smoking gun that they found their big piece of evidence that was going to prove that Stephen Avery's blood was planted.
The thing is, whenever a defendant's blood specimen is taken out for forensic purposes, it is put into the vial through a syringe. So there's nothing that should surprise anybody by the fact that there was this minuscule hole in the stopper or the top of the tube.
On February 9th, 2007, the trial of Stephen Avery for the murder of Teresa Halbach begins. Key physical evidence introduced by the prosecution includes a bullet fragment with Teresa Halbach's blood DNA on it found in the garage, Avery's blood found in her SUV, DNA found on Teresa's hood latch, and her keys found in Avery's bedroom. But Brendan Dassey's taped confession is not found admissible. In March 2007, the Manitowoc County jury of 6 men and 6 women deliberate for nearly 22 hours over 3 days.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Stephen A. Avery, guilty of first-degree.
I think there was great relief when the verdict finally came back that the jury did not buy into the frame-up defense.
Avery is sentenced to life in prison with no chance for parole. A jury also finds Dassey, now 17, guilty in the rape, murder, and mutilation of Halbach. Dassey is sentenced to life in prison with eligibility for parole in 2048 after serving 41 years. Then, on December 18th, 2015, Netflix releases a 10-episode documentary about Stephen Avery titled Making a Murderer. It's the proclaimed real-life thriller about Stephen Avery, a DNA exoneree who finds himself the center of a murder investigation after attempting to expose the corrupt law enforcement that wrongfully imprisoned him 18 years earlier. The series is viewed by over 19 million people, and discussion goes viral on social media outlets.
Making a Murderer. It's the latest binge-watching obsession on Netflix.
Making a Murderer continues to build. Hundreds of thousands of people have watched the series.
Viewers of the series become enraged at the idea that two innocent men could be serving life sentences based on the strong suggestion by the documentary that law enforcement planted and tampered with evidence. This in retaliation for the lawsuit he filed against Manitowoc County.
Every single person who saw the documentary and who read the articles about him had an opinion, and a lot of those opinions were completely opposite from each other. And he went from being just a local story to being a nationwide phenomenon.
I was very shocked at the kind of reaction it got. That whole thing, as it blew up like a mushroom cloud, surprised me.
I mean, I give them a lot of credit. They put together a very compelling story. I mean, the story is compelling. It's not the whole story.
I completely disagree with their agenda. I think there was so much left out of Making a Murderer.
A lot of people, because of the series, are arguing this case in the court of public opinion, and that doesn't matter. They reached their verdict based on what they heard in the courtroom, not what was just presented in this 10-part series.
The nation is so outraged that over 500,000 people sign a petition for a presidential pardon of Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey.
The hue and cry for a pardon. I've never heard anything so ridiculous in my life. Somebody does a TV show and then we're going to pardon someone on that basis? How ridiculous can you get?
And of course the result has been horrific for Manitowoc, for law enforcement in the city. There's been bomb threats, there's social media stuff daily. 2 police officers, good police officers, names have been dragged through the mud nationally, even worldwide.
Stephen Avery's case and conviction, it doesn't look like there's any room for reversible error, any room for this to be looked at again.
You have the defendant's blood in the victim's car. You have the victim's key to her car in the defendant's bedroom. And you have some bullet particles with the victim's DNA in the defendant's garage, which is exactly where his accomplice said that Stephen Avery shot the victim. So with that kind of evidence, this is kind of a prosecutor's dream case.
With Brendan Dassey, however, there are some questions about the way he was prosecuted, and that case is being reviewed right now.
Often lost in the controversy is the victim herself, Teresa Halbach.
It was too bad about the first trial. What happened to Teresa Halbach trumps everything else in this case.
This haunting video was shot by Teresa herself 3 years before her murder, a private reflection of life and death.
I just want to know, whenever I do die, I just want people I love to know that whenever I die, that I was happy. That I'm happy with what I did with my life.